In this video, we're going to look at the features of the Microsoft Translator mobile app. To begin, you'll need to download and install the Microsoft Translator app on your mobile device. You can search the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store for Microsoft Translator, and the app can be identified by the green and white logo as shown on screen. Once the app has been installed on your mobile device, there is no need to sign in. Microsoft Translator is an app which allows pupils and teachers to communicate with each other where English is not the first language of one or more parties. Microsoft Translator is a mobile app which allows you to translate spoken word and typed text in over 70 languages. Multiple users can converse with each other through the conversation feature. The app requires an internet connection, but allows for languages to be downloaded for offline use. When the app is launched, you will have 6 options to choose from. The first of these is the microphone, which allows you to translate speech. The second is the keyboard, which allows you to translate typed text. And the third is the conversation tool, which allows you to communicate with others, also using the Translator app. Next, we have the camera, which allows you to translate text from an image. On the bottom right of the screen, we have our phrasebook, which contains common words and phrases. And finally, we have history, which displays history of all previous translations and allows common or favourite translations to be pinned to be referred back to at a later date.
The first feature that we'll look at in Microsoft Translator is the ability to translate speech. To do this, select the microphone icon in the centre of the screen. On this screen, you can select the language that you're speaking, which for me is currently set to English, and the language you wish to be translated into, which is currently set to Spanish. To begin translating your speech, simply select the microphone icon at the bottom of the screen and speak clearly. This is an example of me translating English into Spanish.
Este es un ejemplo de mi traduciendo inglés al español.
So your translated speech is read aloud to you, and you can see your own dictated English speech at the top of the screen. To change the language which you are translating to or from, simply select the language at the bottom of the screen. A list of over 70 languages will now be displayed for you to choose from. Additional settings can also be accessed by selecting the globe or person icon to the right of the screen. The first setting we can change is our language region. For example, within English, we can choose United Kingdom as our language region, as opposed to other English-speaking nations. This allows the app to recognise our speech better, and therefore we will receive better translations. We can also change the voice, which will read back our translations, and we can choose to download the language for offline use. After translating your speech, there is the option to display the translated text in a full screen mode, which might be easier for some pupils to read. Like so. Simply press the back button on your phone to return to the app. If you select the keyboard key from the main screen, the feature is exactly the same as if you were speaking, but rather you type your text. For example, like this. And your translated text appears on the screen. Again, you have the option to change your typed language and your translated language from the bottom of the screen. You can also choose to make your translated text appear in a full screen mode. And by pressing the speaker icon on the right hand side, you can have the translated text read aloud.
Por ejemplo, así.
A very powerful feature of the Microsoft Translator app is the conversation feature, which can be accessed by the icon on the right hand side of the screen. Once selected, you'll be presented with the options to join an existing conversation or to start your own conversation. If you choose to begin a conversation of your own, you'll be able to set your own name and your own native language from the list of available options, of which there are over 70. You can then enter the conversation. A text code and a QR code will then be visible on screen. So other users can either scan the QR code or use the 5-letter code on their own device to join your conversation. The conversation will be unique for each user in that the language which they selected as their native language is the language in which all messages will appear. So although a student has joined my class, they could be talking in their chosen language, which may be Spanish or French or Arabic or any other of the available languages within the app. All of their messages will appear on screen for me in English. In the same fashion, any message which I choose to send in English will be translated into the native language on the device of the other users. So for as many different users as there may be in the chat, there could be as many different languages, and my message, which originated in English, will be translated into all of the necessary languages which other users of the conversation are speaking in. So I can choose to type my message with the keyboard icon here at the bottom of the screen, and that message will be sent to each other user in the chat, or I can use the microphone icon to dictate my text, just like so. Again, typed or spoken messages will be sent to all users in the chat and will be translated into their chosen language. By accessing the three-dot menu at the top of the screen, other options become available. From here, you can choose to show original text, which will display sent messages in their native language. You can choose to turn on presenter mode, which will mute all other participants in the chat, will turn your microphone into an always listening mode, and will constantly translate your speech into the required languages for each user on the conversation. So this is a very useful feature when presenting a lesson to the class and you don't wish to type or text everything that you're saying. Simply turn on presenter mode, keep your device near your person, and your speech will be constantly translated for each user. You can also choose to mute all other users, and finally you can lock the conversation to stop other users from joining the chat. In the list of participants, you can select individual students and choose to mute or remove them from the chat. Select the three-dot menu again to unmute a muted student.